Hey there, guys. So, a lot of I train a lot at home. Time poor dad and training. I fit it in where I can. I'm pretty good in terms of getting training sessions in. I've got equipment at home, and I think for a lot of time poor dads, that's probably going to be one of the biggest key factors in success for when it comes to achieving your physique and strength goals. You just need to have some training equipment at home. Um, I try and do, at least one session a week at the gym, and that's normally a Monday. I'll do my heavy bench press there, and I'll do my heavy squats there. And that way, I basically have the rest of the week dedicated to accessories. So, a lot of time poor dads try and chase this concept where you need everything perfect on paper, and the reality is it's not going to fall that way. There's just too many interruptions. Family life always comes first, and sometimes you get stuck at work, overtime, you've got to do a school pickup or drop off, take the kids to training. There's just school concert pops up. There's always something. So having the ability just to be able to train at home and get your accessory exercises done is a huge win. And it also sets just a really good example for the kids as well. They see that, no matter how busy you are, you still have time to include them. They can still come out and train with you. They understand that, you're doing something that's a benefit to your health, and they copy what you do. And, if they can see that you value training, value being active, not smoking, not drinking, like all those sort of things, they naturally just want to be like you and just copy you. And, a lot of gyms you can't, take really young kids to. It's just not practical. Trying to put a 4-year-old in a commercial gym, he just wants to run around and look at everything, talk to people, get in the way. People trying to do bench press, squats, deadlifts, lat pull down. It's not the appropriate, place for them with everyone else around. Versus, at home you can control more or less what goes on. A few extra dumbbells, few extra kettlebells, just get them doing whatever they want. Curls, some overhead press, a few pull-ups, give them a band so that they can, be able to do the, assisted, pull-ups if they're a little bit older and understand, what they need to do. But at the end of the day, putting the work in is going to go a lot further than a lot of people realize. And it might even be something as simple as, on a Saturday morning, coffee and curls. Just sit there, knock out 4 sets of 10 on, dumbbell curls, kettlebell curls. That's what I was doing in this particular clip. It was a Saturday, and had the coffee, went outside, knock out a few sets of curls, and, biceps, I can tick that off the list. A lot of people think that they need heaps and heaps of volume, different exercises, sets, reps, you name it. A lot of the time, 4 sets of 10 is going to pretty much get you through the week. I know it certainly gets me through the week when it comes to bench press. There's no doubt about it. Most of the time I just bench press once a week. Competition prep, I'll bench twice a week, once heavy, once light. If you're benching, once a week and then later on in the week doing, 4 sets of 10 or 4 sets of 20, whatever you want to call it, of overhead dumbbell shoulder press. Again, triceps, delts, they're all being worked. Push-ups, you can do them whenever you want, knock out 4 sets of, 25 to 50, whatever you really want. It's not going to be that hard. But it's about putting the work in, and a lot of people go, oh, well, I really don't have much time. Well, it's like, get up an extra 15 minutes earlier, knock out your 4 sets of 10 of, say, your pull-ups, for example. And when you get home, do 4 sets of 10 for rows. All of a sudden, back is done. You've ticked it off the list. And that's a lot more than what a lot of people are ever going to do. And as I said, trying to have the perfect approach isn't going to work. When it comes to meals, I'm definitely not a big breakfast eater. I don't eat breakfast pretty much at all. I just have 2 cups of coffee and I'm out the door. The days where I start at 6 a.m., I'll sort of wait until about 7 o'clock in the morning and have my coffee. Lunch depends. Like if I'm at home, then just a very simple, easy 1,000 calories that I like doing of late is just getting 1 cup of dry rice, throw that in the rice cooker, and then once it's done, add 2 of the small tins of tuna, put a bit of soy sauce, and I'm pretty much 1,000 calories. I really didn't try. Just easy meals to get in. Another one that I like having is the liter of the high protein milk. Again, that's 700 calories. Have two of the home brand like muesli bars. You've bumped it up to basically 1,000 calories again. Other options, if you don't have the muesli bars, just having 2 bits of fruit, to go with, or 3 bits of fruit, whatever you want, to go with a liter of the high protein milk, which is, 60 calories for the liter, works really quite well. And then, if you're doing that, I don't know, more towards the start of the day, you could have that for what we call morning tea, which is smoko on a trade site. You could do that, in the morning. Lunch, you can always take your lunch to work, being the rice and the tuna, or, you can throw in whatever, sort of meat you want and make your own version of like a special fried rice. Sometimes I throw in 2 cups of the mixed frozen veggies into the rice cooker along with the rice, and that turns out really quite well. And it's just, quality calories. It didn't cost you much at all. It's really easy to put down as well. And then, when you get home, have a coffee, a snack, whatever you want, go train. And then evening is sort of whatever the wife cooks. But again, it's always some sort of like meat and veggies. We plan to a pretty good extent what we roughly want to have during the week when we go into a food shop. We'll buy 2 kilos of mince, for example. Like we know we can do spaghetti bolognese or shepherd's pie or things like that. Then we'll always get like some silver side as well. We'll also get the boneless shoulder of lamb, throw that in the slow cooker. And other times we'll just get some chicken, and it depends what we want to do with it. Do we want to have chicken schnitzels? Do we want to turn it into a stir fry? Do we want to put it in the slow cooker with some other things? It really isn't that hard. And I think, ditch the idea that you need frequent small meals, because the reality is you don't really. I think personally it's more of a marketing grab. And ideal for us is literally getting the calories in that are healthy, and not having our blood sugar levels spike all the time, because, the more you can eat quality food and set yourself up for success, the more successful you're going to be. So yeah, you might just do the standard 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner, or you might make it more mid-morning, lunch, and then just wait until dinner, or you might have a snack before dinner. Whatever it is, you just need to come up with, a plan of attack. Look at how many total calories you're going to need as well. If you're cutting or bulking, you need to factor that in as well. And just, there's plenty of basic calculations that you can do on Google. Look at BMR, basal metabolic rate, as opposed to BMI, which is body mass index. You want the BMR calculator. So, again, tamper with that, put the values in. It normally asks you for your height and weight, activity level, the rest of it, and you're pretty much set. It's going to give you a general ballpark figure, which is a pretty good starting point, if you want to bulk or cut or just eat at maintenance. And from there, sort of plan your meals around that in terms of building the calories. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, have a great day wherever you are.